faces, and welcome to MenoLabs Live. It is Stress Awareness Month, so we are going to be talking to Dr. Maggie about what causes stress during midlife and tools to help you during that time. My name is Natasha, and I'm the community manager. She is Dr. Maggie, and she's our brand expert and a naturopathic doctor, excuse me. And Dr. Maggie, what are you drinking today?
I have my jasmine green tea.
Oh, nice. I'm drinking water because it's hot in Tucson and I gotta stay hydrated. So I want to talk about the promo for today. We're really excited. It's going to be 40% off of any 2 items you put in your cart. So I'm just going to run through the products really quick. We have Well Rested, Athena Shield, Happy Fiber, MenoFit, MenoGlow, and Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen. Any 2 items go into your cart and you'll get 40% off using the code happy 40. So happy 40, and then you get a gift with purchase, which is Happy Fiber. So really excited about that. I just want to highlight Carolyn is so excited to be here. She says we love hearing from Dr. Maggie each month. We love having her too. She's tuning in from Florida. Taylor says hi. Carol is also thrilled to talk about stress and peri. I know it's going to be a lot of great information. Katrina is watching from Cali. Hello, welcome, Katrina. Let's join in, look at the icons. So the icons are going to tell us, the bottle icon is going to tell us more ingredient information. So we're going to be talking about a couple of products today. We're going to dig into the ingredients, but if you have more questions, you could check that out. The bag icon is where you're going to make sure you have the 2 items in your cart, because the 2 items is going to make it so you get the 40% off with Happy 40. Then we always like to highlight the triangle, which is sharing is caring. Make sure you're sharing this information with your friends and family during the show or after. The heart icon is what we love. We love when you give us encouragement. We really appreciate it. And then comment in the comments below. You can ask questions for Dr. Maggie or more questions, details about the products, and our customer care team is going to be able to help you. Let's dig in and start with studies. So studies show that women in perimenopause experience stress that can lead to depression if not taken care of. The North American Medical Society highlighted a study stating it's important that a healthcare provider helps a woman decide whether she is feeling stressed or blue, whether she is clinically depressed. Major depression is a condition associated with a chemical imbalance in the brain, and changing hormones during perimenopause may be associated with that imbalance. Dr. Maggie, what do you think about that study from the North American Medical Society?
Well, it's a really important study because depression during perimenopause and menopause is very common and really need to be addressed holistically. And that's where sometimes there's a gap, because if a woman is experiencing depression during menopause, then the menopause needs to be addressed too, right? So you have to consider the hormonal piece and the lifestyle piece to really support a woman through this phase. And it is a really serious issue. And I mean, depression rates among middle-aged women have really soared in recent years. So it is something that we need to address, and we need to bring the menopause conversation into the conversation of addressing depression during this time.
Definitely. And unfortunately, depression can sometimes lead to suicide, and suicide rates for midlife women or women in midlife are up. So we also want to give you the code, or the number 988 is a number that you can call if you need assistance. And we want to make sure you're aware of that. We have a post on that on our MenoLife, which is our app. I can relate to the sandwich generation. I helped out with my grandmother last year. Sometimes they say you're helping out with your parents who are getting older and needing help. And then I have my eldest daughter who is going through puberty. She's 12 going on 13. So you have a lot of that going on during midlife, which can already be a lot of stress. But then you also have your hormones, Dr. Maggie. So what are your hormones doing to add to that stress during midlife?
Yeah, hormones are involved in every reaction. There's receptors for our hormones in our brain that are really responsible for us feeling good and really emotionally regulated. And so when our estrogen starts to fluctuate more erratically, which happens during perimenopause, we are more prone to depression, anxiety, and brain fog. Also, during perimenopause and into menopause, our progesterone levels start to decline, which for some people can lead to more anxiety and insomnia. So you have this hormonal piece, like you don't have the support as strong of a support of our hormones to manage day-to-day stressors. And it can just sometimes be this perfect storm of lifestyle stressors and hormonal changes that can really just feel too much and trigger a depressive episode.
Definitely. Are there ways your body can tell you that you're stressed out?
Oh, yes, yes. Our bodies and our symptoms are ultimately messages that we need to start to be aware of to know where the imbalance lies. So, personally, when I get an eye twitch, I know that there's some stress. Like, it's sort of funny. My eyes are twitching, and I'm like, hold on, what's going on in my life right now? But oh, and I used to get diarrhea before any big medical tests. Medical when I was in medical school before I had a test, I'd always have diarrhea. And those I knew were my body's stress response. But the gut and brain are so connected that any GI issue could be related to stress, really, or made worse with stress. So constipation, diarrhea, bloating, heartburn can all be a stress response. Also, rashes. Some people really prone to skin eruption. So, it's really about being mindful of your body's symptoms and what it's trying to tell you.
I love that you shared the eye twitching because I've experienced eye twitching. I'm always like, what's going on? So now having that awareness, I'll know, okay, I need to calm down. I need to figure out what's stressing me out. Maybe because sometimes you don't pay attention. You're not realizing I'm stressed right now and my body's trying to tell me something. So I think it's great that you shared that. Some other ones that I have are like hair thinning, acne, weight loss or weight gain, hot flashes, poor concentration. So your body could do a lot of different things when you're stressed out. And it's just like you said, listening and responding, right?
Yes, and I'll just quickly touch upon one thing you said was hair loss, because that is very common. And when our bodies are under stress, our hair can go into a resting phase. And then 6 months later, we start to really notice the hair loss.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people who come into my practice, oh, I'm not stressed, but my hair is thinning. And I say, well, what happened 6 months ago? And for many women, that's a light bulb moment.
That's so crazy. So I didn't know that either. If you experience mood swings during your period or postpartum, does that mean that you're going to experience mood swings, stress, anxiety during perimenopause?
It can be a window, definitely. Some of our brains are just really sensitive to hormonal changes and hormonal fluctuation. So we know that during times of hormonal changes, we're more prone to depression. So that's like during puberty, during our PMS time, that's when our hormones start to drop before a period. Postpartum, there's a major drop in our estrogen and progesterone after we have a baby, and that's another time when we're prone to mood disorders. And then, of course, during perimenopause and menopause. And again, it's this erratic estrogen levels, either a drop in estrogen or erratic production of estrogen that can lead to depression. And drops in progesterone can also lead to more anxiety. So both are related, but it's not so much, and this sort of surprises people, it's like not so much the absolute number of hormones, which is why getting a blood test isn't always so straightforward when it comes to hormones, because it really has to do how hormones are changing and how the changes affect our brain and our mood.
So interesting. I want to remind everybody, I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show, I always take notes when we go through our rehearsal. Make sure you're taking your notes. And if you don't, we have exciting news. We're going to start having show notes available in the blog. So we'll be transcribing all of this great information that Dr. Maggie shares for you to be able to reference later. This is all about educating and making sure we get the word out. Heather says, what a great idea for the topic. I think most people can really benefit from this information. Thank you, MenoLabs team. Thank you. Thank you for addressing this topic. So important, Carolyn. I had no idea eye twitching could be a stress indicator, and I didn't either, to be honest. Maggie Mack says eye twitching, loss of appetite, breaking out in hives. Very true, right? Yeah.
Hives for sure. Honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just think stress is like it's the most important topic to really approach this phase. Our stress and our stress response. It's really number one. And so I'm also happy we're having this conversation.
Yeah, because it's like I said earlier, we're already dealing with so much at this point in our life. And then our hormones are also adding to that. So just so much on a higher level than we have ever experienced, probably. Heather, oh my God, I never realized the connection between gut health, stress, and hair loss. Stress is so toxic and hard on the body. It's so true. So we want to provide you with a technique. We have Dr. Lori Davis.
Sustain Complete preservative free. Just one drop gives you 8 hours relief from dry eye. So you can make every look.
You're muted.
So sorry, everyone. That was really weird. I don't know what happened. I was like, is that my video already? So sorry. This is live. This is real life. But I do have a technique. I'm going to probably need it now because I'm stressed out. That Dr. Lori Davis, a licensed psychologist, shared a great activity that you can do, technique you could do no matter where you are, no matter how stressed like I am, you are after something like this happens. So we're going to share that now. Please share it. Thank you. So I love that technique. I love rosemary. I usually pick it up on my walk. So now I'm going to elevate my walking experience by doing this. It's just a couple of minutes that you can do it no matter where you are when you're feeling stressed. And I love that. I want to invite you all, if you're just joining us, goddesses, to make sure you get your questions in for Dr. Maggie. We'll cover those today. And I want to let you know about the promo. We're giving you 40% off of any 2 items from the line. Plus, if you do the purchase with Happy 40 is the promo, then you'll get this gift with purchase, which is Happy Fiber. Now we're going to dig into the products and the ingredients in the products that we're talking about today. So L-tyrosine is in Happy Fiber. Dr. Maggie, what does L-tyrosine do to help with mood?
So L-tyrosine is an amino acid, and our body can take the L-tyrosine to help boost certain key neurotransmitters that are important for mood. So one is dopamine. So L-tyrosine really just kind of helps your body, it turns into dopamine in the body. And dopamine is really important for our energy, our mood, focus, and motivation. It's part of our reward pathway. So L-tyrosine can really help boost stores of that. And L-tyrosine can also help boost stores of our catecholamines like norepinephrine, epinephrine, both of which are really important for energy. And when we're sleep deprived or stressed, those neurotransmitters can get depleted. So we can help support that. So again, L-tyrosine, basically think of it as energy, focus, and mood.
Definitely. Another one we want to highlight today is Well Rested, that has GABA. What does GABA do for mood?
Yeah, GABA is one of my favorite amino acids. It's very calming. So it's a great addition to a sleep supplement because GABA is really good at quieting the brain before bed. It's a relaxant. It helps quiet that chatty mind so you can better fall asleep.
Because like you said there, a lot of women go to bed and they still have their to-do list going and they can't turn it off. So this will help turn that list off. Can diet help with stress? And if so, how?
Yes, diet is one of the first places I look at when I'm talking to my patients about stress management and managing stress, because it really comes down to blood sugar. When our blood sugar crashes, it elicits a stress response in the body. So if you're already feeling stress and then that blood sugar crashes and we have a stress response, it can make everything worse. Also, stable blood sugar, and I'll go into what that really means, can really help us weather environmental stressors. So blood sugar drops anytime we have basically sugar or foods that get broken down into sugar very easily. So not just like candy or M&Ms, but processed carbs, like highly processed. So pasta, bread, pastries, croissants,
All the fun
even
stuff.
tortilla chips, right? They get broken down very quickly into our body and causes a spike in blood sugar. And then our body releases insulin. and it causes us quick absorptions. We have this drop in blood sugar that follows the spike. And that drop in blood sugar is our body, it does elicit a stress response. Our body releases cortisol, it's trying to boost blood sugar levels, and it can mimic a same physiological reactions as feeling stress. So one incredible buffer to both manage stress and prevent worsening stress is keeping that blood sugar stable through the day. And that's emphasizing healthy sources of protein, healthy sources of fat, vegetables, and fiber. If you combine those, really you're doing a lot to keep the blood sugar stable.
And how can staying active help with stress?
Well, movement is so important. So we know that exercise releases endorphins, which are our feel-good hormones. We tend to feel better. It also kind of gets us out of our head a little bit, so that after we have exercise, we can think about things a little bit more clearly, and things feel often less big.
Very true. How do you manage your own stress, Dr. Maggie?
Well, I manage stress through two ways, really, and this is what I try to teach my patients. It's really a two-prong approach. One is you want to manage and monitor your nervous system, right? Like seeing how you're basically feeling in the moment, and taking actions to kind of keep that nervous system regulated. So for me, I have a morning routine and an evening routine that I hold near and dear. I cherish it. I think having a little bit of time in the morning before everyone else wakes up in the house to take care of your own needs is can be really helpful. So it's my time where I exercise, I'll take a shower, I'll even try to get in a little meditation, and that really helps me. And then evening, it's just another like a quiet time for myself. And then if I'm feeling a little bit like stress, I do things that are easy, like breath. We always have our breath work, we're always breathing. So we have our breath work, and breathing techniques can really help trigger a calming response in the body. So I'll do something called like the 4-7-8 breathing or box breathing. Both can be really helpful to calm the nervous system. Getting outside in nature, calling a friend, and talking can be really helpful. And then as far as the stress, so one is the nervous system, the other one is like our stressors. And something I'm getting really good at, and I encourage everyone to do more, is saying no. And really being mindful what you're taking on. Check in with yourself. Does it feel too much? Just say no. It can feel really, really good and empowering to say no.
Definitely. And I want to just highlight the breathing technique that Dr. Maggie is referencing is going to be on our socials, to make sure you're following us on Instagram, and you'll see it there. I've got a lot of questions here, but I'm going to ask those after this. So this is a really big one that I think is really great to cover. What's the difference between stress and anxiety? How do we distinguish between the two?
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap, and I think we use the words interchangeably a lot. But stress tends to be related to a known trigger, whether it's a stress or presentation or even children. You can point to it, and when the stressor resolves, so the presentation's over, the test is over, the stress gets better. Anxiety doesn't always have a trigger. Like you can't always point to something causing it. It's just sort of this underlying feeling of unease. It can often happen when we passed our stress threshold as well, where it's too much, and then we get into an anxiety response. And then, like I said, anxiety it can just linger longer, can't always resolve when a situation resolves.
Yeah. How can mindfulness help support mood and sleep during perimenopause?
I mean, mindfulness is so important. And it really is when we are checking in with our body and seeing how we're feeling, and what does our body need in the moment to feel whole and balanced. And we do this without any judgment. So when you can connect to your body and to really see how it feels and maybe what it needs, and do this without judgment, we automatically can just get a little bit more calm, less reactive, and this can set our nervous system up for getting to be able to fall asleep.
Definitely. Because you've said it on Hello Peri before, your account that we follow on Instagram, that sleep does get affected by stress, or not being able to sleep affects your stress, I should say, rather.
Well, it's both. Yeah, it's definitely a cycle. So stress can interfere with sleep. And if you're not sleeping well, you're certainly not managing stress well. So it's so important. I share with my patients, like, sleep and prioritizing sleep is the ultimate act of self-care.
Definitely. It can be hard sometimes because we're so busy, but
Yeah.
gotta make that time. Well, I want to welcome any new goddesses that are joining us. We're discussing stress and perimenopause today with Dr. Maggie. So if you have any questions, please get those in the comments below. We're going to dig in a little bit more into our products, and then we're going to answer all of your questions. So thank you so much. I see so many coming in. So with Happy Fiber, how does this help with stress, and how can you add it to your routine?
Happy Fiber. So, well, Happy Fiber is great for the gut microbiome, first of all. So we know that gut health and stress response and mood are so important. So the fiber helps feed the gut microbes and helps with our gut microbiome and the biodiversity of our gut, which is really important for mood. And then again, the L-tyrosine, that amino acid, that's a precursor to a lot of our feel-good hormones. It helps us just kind of feel a little bit better, help better manage the stressors.
And I think in our discussion, you had brought up something that made me think about how I'm going to use this. I usually tell people to sprinkle it on their food, but you said it's more beneficial for the L-tyrosine to do it with liquids only, right?
Well, yes, L-tyrosine is an amino acid. Amino acids are best absorbed away from food sources. It's just better utilized, better absorbed by the body. So it's not going to hurt you if you take it with food, but it just may not be as optimally absorbed and utilized for that purpose.
I just wanted to point that out. That was a really good point that I didn't know. And I want to make sure we get all the benefits we want. So the next one was well rested. How does this benefit mood? And also, how would you work it into your routine?
So if you're not having any difficulty sleeping, you probably don't need it. But if you're having a little difficulty sleeping, either falling asleep or staying asleep, then you can take, I would start with one capsule right at bedtime or 20 minutes before bedtime. And it just has it has GABA in it, which we talked about earlier, really great calming that active mind. It has also L-theanine. Those two together they work great again at just calming that active, chatty mind to help you fall asleep. But it also has some magnesium glycinate, which is really calming, and it has a little melatonin, which can really help you fall asleep. So it's a really synergistic blend of key nutrients that help our bodies sleep.
So it's a great item to work into your routine. Like you said, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, take this, work into your routine, make dim the lights, take your shower, stretch, do yoga, do something calming instead of being on our phones and watching TV. And so this is a great way to kind of start that routine, that evening routine. I just want to highlight again, the promo today is 40% off of any 2 items from our line, and you'll put it in there. You'll use Happy 40. And you'll get gift with purchase Happy Fiber. This goes until Thursday at midnight. So now we're going to jump into some questions. I've got a lot here. I'm so excited about this. Let me see. Sorry, we have so many. I just need to find where we're starting. Maggie Mac, my mom always said it could kill you quicker than any other disease. So I try very hard to not to get too stressed out. I love that. Yeah, it's true. Can bloating be a sign of stress? I have been trying to figure out my bloating for months, Anne.
So there are a lot of potential causes of bloating, but the first place I ask anyone who struggles with bloating is to look at their nervous system and their stress response. I think we talked about this in our first conversation we had, Natasha, here, but not just what we eat, but how we eat and the state of our nervous system of how we eat plays a big role in digestion, because when we're bloating, either food is fermenting or not moving as quickly through our gut, so it can lead to bloating. And in order to have optimal digestion and motility, so things aren't sitting, creating bloat, but moving efficiently through our system, we really need to be in what I call it's not what I call it, it is called the parasympathetic nervous system, or parasympathetic state, which is rest and digest, which means try, being mindful when we're eating slowly, eating mindfully, chewing your food really, really, really well, putting the fork down between each bite, and not multitasking. And those are some steps you can do to, really get into that nervous system that promotes good digestion. I always say digestion starts before you even take that first bite of food. Like, you should be salivating because you're really being mindful. You're smelling the food, you're looking at the presentation, you're thinking about what it tastes like, and that gets the digestive juices flowing, which can help with bloating and digestion. Again, lots of causes for bloating, but that's a great place to start.
And it's so funny. It sounds so easy, but it can be so difficult. We're so rushed in our life and we just go for it. And I always have to calm myself down, like, okay, you don't have to eat it so quickly, just eat slowly. So that's a great takeaway there. Let's see, sorry, I'm just scrolling back up. Heather, love the Happy Fiber, the first fiber supplement I found with no taste, no bloating, so easy to use. We love that you're loving it. Debbie, for you, love that this product has a mood support, so needed. Can't wait to try. What are good sources of protein for snacks can I have during the day? This is Carolyn.
Yes, that's a great question. So a hard-boiled egg is good. I like even hummus with any sort of dip. Hummus also has a good source of fat too, which can help with stabilizing blood sugar. So, with cucumbers or carrots, dipping anything in the hummus. I'm going to throw in some healthy fat options too, because again, those are good satiating blood sugar stabilizing. So like a part of an avocado, nuts and seeds, almond butter. There are some actually, this is trending now, but I approve of this one, like those dehydrated beef sticks. Like if you do it, and they have turkey ones too, like jerky.
My kids
There's some
love
good brands that are like, and they're easy to have on hand, and they're good sources of protein.
I love it.
A protein shake you can make easily, something with a good source of protein. Cottage cheese, if you tolerate dairy, is another good snack. That's a high source of protein.
And I've seen that it's good for you to add it to scrambled eggs. Like it helps it, be more, I don't know what you'd say, because I'm not really a cook like that.
Fluffy?
Yeah, fluffy maybe, yes. And then it's got the added benefits. So
Yeah, it has it's a great source of protein. Like you get 28 grams in a half a cup. So, or maybe it's a cup, 28 grams of protein. So it's a good source of protein. Yes, people add it to their smoothie. I have not tried that, but it's sort of like, it's a comeback from the 80s when we thought like cottage cheese and pineapple was the way to lose weight, but it's actually like a good source of protein.
My sister's always liked pairing it with like her avocado scrambled egg, and then she'll have the cottage cheese. And I tried it for a little bit, but I can't seem to stick with it. But I want to try the new scrambled egg thing.
Yeah.
Let's see, what are other options for relaxation if you do not have time for a personal day, Anne?
If you don't have time for what was that?
Time for a personal day, like just to like take a whole day off to do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I don't have personal days. So I wish I had a personal day. So yeah, I mean, the breath work, like I said, just taking a moment just to focus on your breathing. You can even just say, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. It's so quick. A sigh is also really great. Just it's called a physiological sigh. It just lets things out. Ellen Vora is a holistic psychiatrist. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she does a lot of work with anxiety, and she talks about shaking as a form of a really powerful stress reduction, because it's what animals do in the wild when they're stressed. They shiver, when they're done, and that humans we can start to adopt sort of the shivering.
I'll be walking around.
Yeah, it's a good source
smile
of
anyway.
I mean, and then ask yourself too, like, what does your body need? It doesn't need a whole day, but could, even just grounding exercises. So that's when you stand barefoot in the sand, dirt, or grass for just a few minutes. That connection to nature, and it's called grounding, but it can be really calming for a lot of for most people. And I think these different activities, whether it's the breath work, the shaking, if you want to take a bath, or just increasing self-awareness, mindfulness, journaling,
Reading,
grounding, see which resonates with you. I also just think like a morning walk, getting some sunlight in the morning can be really great for our just having a moment to be alone, perhaps mindfulness, but also that sunlight does a lot to regulate our nervous system and our circadian rhythm.
Let's see. Can you talk about the 4-7-8 breathing? Maybe do we have enough time?
It doesn't. Well, add it up. It's like 15 seconds. We can do it quickly. So let's all do it together. So essentially, it's easy. You can do whatever you want. You breathe in for 4 seconds. You hold for 7, and you exhale for 8. And a slower exhale sends a message to the brain that we're in a calmer, relaxed state. And then the brain gets that message and sends a bunch of neurohormonal messages to the rest of the body to feel calm and relaxed. So let's do it together. It's super quick. Okay. So I'll guide us. Okay. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. So ready?
That felt good. And you can find this, you're going to be able to find this on our socials. Heather, do you have any recommendations for a quick stretch massage I can do from my desk to help in stressful moments?
Yes. So if you're able to sit like crisscross applesauce, if you're able to do that, that opens up the hip and it's a nice hip opener. And the other thing I love is eagle pose, which is like that. And then being mindful of relaxing the shoulders, like exhaling while relaxing the shoulders. I feel it. I feel it. Do you feel it? I feel my shoulders.
Yes,
It feels good. The other thing I will say is when you're bring attention to your jaw. We are often clenching our jaw.
Yeah, I probably always do.
And just bringing attention to our jaw and just being mindful of relaxing our jaw can lower the stress response in our body. So you can do it at the same time, the exhale and relaxing the jaw.
Love that. I've also heard a lot about facial yoga I want to try to do. I haven't done it yet, but I've heard a lot about it.
I want to try it too. It's on my to-do list.
Thank you. Those are amazing tips. I had no idea. And Katrina, is sleep associated with stress? How many hours do you recommend each night? Great question.
Generally, everyone's a little different, but most people need 7 to 9 hours a night.
And Carolyn says, love all of these tips. We're so grateful for all of these questions. You guys, you had some great questions. We got to do a lot of techniques that were really great. I want to remind everybody of the promo for today. Buy any 2 products and you'll get 40% off. I'm just going to run through them quickly. Athena Shield, Well Rested, if I show it correctly, MenoFit, MenoGlow, Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen, and Happy Fiber. Any combination of the 2 and you'll get 40% off with Happy 40. And you'll also get gift with purchase Happy 40. So we're really excited about this. It ends on Thursday at midnight. If you have any questions that weren't answered today, you can please send an email to our customer care team at customercare@menolabs.com. Dr. Maggie, thank you again for sharing with us. Always such great information. And we want to make sure we invite you to our Facebook group, which is MenoLife. And we want to ask you, what are your go-to ways to relieve stress? We want to share this information with our customers, with our community, and we want to make sure we're sharing with each other and learning from each other. And I also want to ask, we changed our time today to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just want to know if it worked for you. Let us know in the comments. We'll talk to you later. Thank you again. See you at next MenoLabs Live. Bye.